Welcome back to the Gamers Addict Show. And I am here with Avenged with level 4. He's going to talk about the Witcher series.
Yeah! Alright!
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Avenged?
Good. What's going on, brother?
So what have you been up to?
I've been playing The Witcher 3 mostly these days.
Okay.
I've played all the Witchers, but Witcher 3, it kind of took me a while to get to it, but finally got to it.
I'm actually excited to hear about this game because I've seen like the graphics of this and it looks amazing. So I want to know a little bit more about it. And as far as like the first two Witcher series, do I need to play those two to get into this one, or can I just play this one right off the bat?
You don't have to. All the games are standalone in the sense of anybody can pick them up and just play. It's a self-contained story. That being said, there is a continuity between all three Witcher games. So if you play the ones beforehand, you have a greater appreciation for the characters and events occurring in the later series or later games. But no, you don't have to.
Okay. Well, you have a comment from a fan. He says, "Wow, he's so dreamy."
Oh wow. You know.
You have fans, man. You have fans.
Well, you know, that's right.
It's the hair.
A risky fan.
It's the Pantene Pro V.
What's the technique? Is it lather, rinse, repeat?
Oh no, it's stare at a 45-degree angle, make sure your hair is silky smooth, a little greasy, and then just flick the hair. I guess the girlies every time. I do the Geralt of Rivia technique.
Speaking of hair, never mind.
I can't.
Glitch!
No!
So, The Witcher 3 is amazing. I did not personally like Witcher 2 at all, as I could not get into it. Witcher 3 is the best American RPG this generation.
Now that's actually, I'm sorry to cut you real quick, but that's something that I've heard, that the older Witchers, and we talked about this actually, where you said The Witcher 2 and 1 were even harder to play than 3.
Well, no one here would be able to play The Witcher 1. So let's go back to The Witcher 1. I played The Witcher 1 a long time ago. The Witcher 1 came out shortly after Neverwinter Nights 2 came out, which is good timing because it's built on the same engine. So the Aurora engine was never designed for the kind of real-time-ish hybrid combat that The Witcher uses. And it ended up having a very awkward combat system and just navigation in the original Witcher was just awkward in general. Load times were awful. I mean, when you got to a loading screen, you were like, oh, I can fill out my retirement papers, or I can go make myself a sandwich, because it takes so long to load between levels. I remember waiting like a good 6-7 minutes just for one load time between area. Anytime I saw a transition to an interior, I was like, I'm not going in there. Yeah, not much.
That's broken game.
It was very awkward. Now I know it's not the same case anymore because they came out with The Witcher Enhanced Edition like 2 years after its release. They added a bunch of new features. The load times are dramatically improved. The combat system is still awkward because that was the design of that system, and it was still based on the Aurora engine, which was meant for Dungeons and Dragons. It was never meant for a game like Witcher. But CD Projekt Red was starting out, and that's what they had to work with. Still, the story was engrossing. It created these moral dilemmas. The whole point of The Witcher is that there's no black and white. Everything's gray. There's no person who has the absolute truth. Anyone who's the absolute good. The Witcher skirts the line between light and darkness, and that's where Geralt of Rivia resides. That's his happy place. There's no right answers, right?
Okay.
And The Witcher 1 brought that into light, along with the monster hunting and all these cool things. This guy who has like silver hair doesn't know who he is, amnesiac, and he's got 50 lovers. It was a dark RPG. It was a very adult dark RPG adopted from a Russian novel of the same name, and it was just something no one ever seen before. There were a few attempts at a mature RPG in the past, like the Gothic series was kind of like that. Elder Scrolls kind of occasionally skirts into that territory, but in reality, none of them engaged it like The Witcher did. And of course, because of the fact that The Witcher has a character of a name who has a background, a story, it adds the depth that most RPGs, American RPGs, do not have. Because let's face the facts, most American RPGs are done with a nameless protagonist who has no background, no story, so that you can mold them into the character of your liking. Where that's cool, and that, you know, gives you that freedom to express and create your character as you wish, but at the same time you lose something out, because now there's no personability, or you cannot personify this character, or rather you cannot relate to this character to the depths that you can with a character that actually has a story and a character and personality. So Witcher brought that into bear and added a mature light to it, so that all, you know, really wasn't meant for children. It wasn't meant for a young audience.
Right.
And you can tell with the themes and the topics, you know, where you have this political dissent that exists in The Witcher, these racial issues that occur between humans and elves and dwarves and all these different fantasy creatures and races, and different political strife between parties who have different agendas, assassins, you have sexual content, you know, all sorts of these adult topic matters are tackled in the Witcher series. And it's only further accentuated as the series goes on. The Witcher 2 carries on from where The Witcher 1 left off. So The Witcher 1 had this political climate in which the king was away from his country, and there was a rebellion occurring from its non-human races, and essentially, I'm not going to spoil it in case anybody ever wants to play it.
Yeah, I want to play it.
But one day, essentially, the king comes back, King Foltest comes back, and then he reappears in The Witcher 2, continuing on from when that racial issue was kind of dealt with. Wasn't really dealt. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, audience.
It wasn't really dealt with per se, but the one of the major actors was kind of phased out. Then you see Witcher 2 come back. Witcher 2 made numerous improvements to Witcher 1. Combat system was much improved. The open world was much more improved. Obviously the loading times and general performance was improved. Characters, voice actors, all of it was a dramatic improvement across the board.
And what consoles is on?
PC, I imagine that it's probably available on all the consoles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about the Witcher 1, but Witcher 2 for sure is going to be available on Xbox and PlayStation 3 and all that fun stuff.
So Travis Berman writes, when I say this generation, it means out of all the American RPGs I've played on PS4, this one was the best. I have not finished Horizon yet, but own it. Plus, it's a hard R rating where you can sleep with everyone.
That's pretty much true. The strumpets in the corner, they beg for your attention.
Master Witcher.
So, hey.
Wow, you can do voices too.
Oh, I can. I'm multi-talented.
This guy.
Don Rico.
Oh.
So,
Sonic knows best.
yeah, Sonic knows. Is that a hit? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Dribble, dribble.
Wow, this is a great game. Definitely want to get into it.
Well, let me just jump to The Witcher 3, which is the one that most people know about and most people will play. Witcher 3 is kind of a dramatic departure from the general formula of the series, because The Witcher 3 jumps into open sandbox territory. Most of the Witcher 1 and 2 games had kind of small sandboxes, but really in a way they were kind of an on-rails experience in that everything was much more linear. That's not the case with The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is straight up a sandbox. You have many large regions, and we're talking the world of Witcher 3 is larger than the world of, say, Skyrim, for instance.
Wow.
It's actually larger.
Skyrim's big.
And you have a much more open free form in how you explore and engage the story. There's
One player?
One player. I mean, you have Roach. That's kind of like having a second player.
Yeah.
Whoa, Roach.
Your friendly horse.
Oh, okay.
And he has a mystical ability to pop out of anywhere.
Sure.
No matter where you are. You could be in an island with literally only 3 square feet of land. If you call Roach, he will appear out of the water to come take you somewhere.
Is that a homage to Roach from the People Under the Stairs? You guys ever seen that movie?
I'm not.
Just threw an obscure reference.
Dating
Oh, God.
myself here.
Yes. So The Witcher 3's open sandbox form really was, I think it was kind of an appeal to more general audiences. I mean, let's face the facts, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Oblivion, their sandbox was just a wildly popular environment. And they saw that they could adapt the game to the sandbox, and they did so, and they did a great job at it. It's a huge world, it is lovingly crafted, it's beautiful, there's just different kinds of environments, and kind of biomes, and you can just see like the slide between forests and jungles and swamps and marshes, and the world inhabitants reflect this existence that they have to live under, whether they're poor or whether they're rich or they're luxurious or ornate. You can just, it lives and breathes. And that is the essence of a sandbox. Especially a sandbox RPG, it has to ooze with its environment. It has to just mesh together. You should be able to walk into a hovel and feel like you've just walked into a hovel. When you see the farmers in there trying to get the poultry or tending to his crops, or kids playing and making limericks on jokes about the king or the invading armies. And it's a living, breathing world that The Witcher created. And the sandbox works perfectly. Giving that player that free-form opportunity to explore and to exist as Geralt enhanced the medium to a new level it didn't have before. And also it included the Gwent, which was probably the most popular thing about The Witcher 3.
What
else? Scarf in a game!
Learned that game. I don't know what it was. Maybe I gotta try it again. I just
what
got the
is
complete
Gwent?
edition.
Gwent is a card game that it's a mini game. It's a card game inside of The Witcher 3 that ended up becoming a phenomenon. Think of it as what the Hearthstone is to Blizzard, Gwent is to CD Projekt Red in the Witcher series. And it's so popular it's become a standalone game that you can download and play. And I spent a lot of hours playing Gwent and Witcher 3, trying to collect all those cards and beat all those special players, get their unique, like, high-level hero cards and all that. That was awesome.
I stick to Hearthstone.
I would say it's a triple triad. I would say it's a triple triad from Final Fantasy 8 and 9 on steroids.
Right.
And when I mean steroids, like steroids, like big time. Because like Gwent, I tried to play and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I couldn't.
It's not that hard, really. It's really just a math game, ultimately.
Yeah, that explains it.
Basically, you lay down cards. They have special abilities, character, and I don't want to get too deep into it because we could have a section on Gwent by itself. You just put down a card. There are 3 layers. There's either the melee, the ranged, or the siege. You put down the cards. They have a number value, and the goal of the game is to have the highest number value at the end of the round. So when all players surrender that round, or they end their turn, the highest number value wins. And that's win twice and you win the game. Obviously it's a lot deeper because there's special characters, special cards, effects, and it can get very complicated when we get into that, but that's the nitty gritty. Okay. Fun game.
So Travis Berman writes, Jennifer is hot. She's my wife. Actually, Triss and Jennifer are my girls.
Oh, I see.
I see.
Hey, Travis, you can't have every girl. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Sonic
man.
is watching you, Travis.
Triss is hot.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Now, would you recommend, just out of curiosity, would you recommend for somebody that hasn't played it, maybe start out with The Witcher 3, and would you start out with just a regular edition, or just go ahead and get the complete edition? I actually got that one a few
You
years
have to
ago.
get the complete edition.
Yeah.
Listen, the Blood and Wine expansion is the single best expansion made in probably ever. It is fantastic. It is better than the base game. That's a hard thing to overcome. Wow. The Witcher 3 is a fantastic game,
Yeah.
but going to Toussaint was just an experience in and of itself.
I just got it the other day.
Is it a long game to
Oh
to
yes,
beat?
yes,
Yeah, I've heard.
yes. Depending on how you play, really, some people just want to just rush through all the objectives and missions and all that, and some people, like myself, like to do everything. Every quest is a mission, and sometimes I just go off and wander, I'll just like see something I find interesting and I wander off. So your mileage will vary, but depending on the kind of player you are. If you're a straight through kind of guy, the game will probably take you 60 hours, give or take. If you're wanderlust and you're gonna do everything, it'll take you 100 hours or more.
If anybody want to donate
Sounds like
a
my
Witcher to player 1, I'll give you my address. Just shoot it in the box,
Sonic does not approve.
All right, well, thank you so much, Avenged, for being here. Yeah.